the internet's number one catfight at the moment, currently, and it stars the Young Turks, TYT. They were at one point the number one news website online. I believe I'm correct in saying, I heard that once. Versus Jimmy Dore, a former employee who then went out on his own. So let me give you the background. I was traveling in China and I met an American, and on his laptop he was listening to some news, and I was just overhearing what they were saying. I thought, wow, that sounds like some good analysis. And it wasn't corporate, like NBC, CBS. There was no commercials. It was just 3 hours of news, and I was like, wow, politics and stuff. I thought, wow, that's really interesting. So that was my first introduction to TYT. And so I talked to him about it, and he was saying how informative it was and what good analysis they did. So I thought, okay, I'll start listening. I learned a lot. I think I listened to them for about, maybe 2 or 3 years. I never became a member, but I did listen to the free hour or so they put out on YouTube. And then I believe they had a podcast, and I would listen to that. But then subsequently, I started listening to Jimmy Dore, and I liked Jimmy much better. He gave better analysis, he had better insight, and he was more relatable, and he was funny. So now let's cut to the fallout of their. They had a bit of a. How would you describe it? Jimmy left, and then a feud began. Let's put it that way. A feud began. So I found it interesting when Jimmy gave details. TYT garnered a $20 million donation from someone. A big, I believe Joe Rogan said once, a California donor. And they were going to build a studio, and they were going to put all this money into that. And then COVID hit, and they were devastated. So you can find all the details if you find it interesting or want to know on the internet. And so I just listened to a video now where Jimmy says they blew through all that $20 million. Maybe they also hired people, and so they went through all that money. And now, because of that, they had to switch and become more center, and they had to change their opinions to suit the donor, right? That's how things work. I'm sure everyone by now knows that mainstream media is compromised. CBS is owned by, let's go with NBC is owned by GE. ABC is owned by Disney. And I don't know if I can recall who CBS is. Viacom? I don't know. And I had a gentleman who's on the internet. I don't know if he does a lot of videos, but I can put a link into him. And I gained my insight, and I lost my naivety thanks to him. He explained all this, whereas before I was clueless. I mean, this was many years ago. I didn't know any of this. Nobody explained it to anyone. And so I learned all about this through him. He recommended Democracy Now! I started listening to them every day. I learned a lot about the world and how it functions. But even now, they're somewhat compromised. If you listen to Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, and the new best journalist around, Aaron Mate, Canadian, I discovered him through Jimmy Dore, and this guy is great. I believe his podcast is The Gray Zone. If you're interested in learning about what's going on, he's a great person to listen to. He is just a young journalist who knows what's going on, and I've never heard him make a mistake. If he does, it's very rare. But he's very meticulous about what he does. anyways, back to the Catfight. So TYT now is floundering from what I have heard and seen. Losing many subscribers. They are, being exposed for what they are. I listened to a few videos today, and there was a lot of, I'll put a link into it, and you can listen to it yourself. A lot of disgusting talk from Cenk. Cenk used to be on MSNBC. I used to see him there. Didn't know much about him. He's a clever guy, but then I saw him when he was running for Congress. He had to pull back from all the TYT stuff when he was running for Congress. But I recall one video he uploaded where he missed, well, he was waiting for a flight, and the flight was going to be late, and he went berserk. He went and showed some anger that I thought was bizarre. And he's displaying that anger now in his videos coming after Jimmy, because Jimmy exposing things about them, about TYT. I could see it. It is, although nobody said this, it is possible that TYT could explode and be no more. I could very well see that happen, because people are now seeing what Anna Kasparian are like, what Cenk Uygur are like, and their whole organization. And I think you see that anger in Cenk now when they're trying to go after Jimmy. Jimmy made a joke about Anna Kasparian's way of dressing, and TYT responded by trying to make it a Me Too sexual harassment claim. And I saw one video by people I don't know, I could post that too, saying Cenk is really showing some what they call Jungian transposing, or reverse psychology. They're displaying what they're afraid of. And I think they are really worried that their whole organization could implode. But that's just my sense. There's some really vicious anger for what seemingly is a minor issue. But you could see that Jimmy consistently tells the truth, and they are changing their story. They're lying. Aaron Maté called them out on the Syria issue, and now you can see all their flaws. Anna is now quoting Bellingcat, which is, as Jimmy points out, is a CIA organization. They're also what's the word? They're also she went after Aaron Maté, giving him the finger, swearing at him, and he was simply pointing out things that were true. So I'll put in links there. You can see all the details to the extent that you want. But it is the most, I won't say exciting, it is the most interesting catfight going on that I'm aware of on the internet today. Where it will end, I have no idea, but I enjoy learning about TYT, things that I didn't know before. And it is a good laugh at the same time to hear the different things that are being pointed out. So I'll leave it there, and I'll put in lots of links for those who don't know TYT or Jimmy Dore, and you can catch up, get up to speed on this issue. Okay?